My name is Marcus. I'd spent 11 years at Pinnacle Solutions, a mid-sized logistics firm in Atlanta. I wasn't flashy. Didn't drive a sports car. Didn't talk about money. I just worked. I built their client database from scratch. I developed the routing algorithm that cut delivery costs by 22%. I mentored half the staff in that building. But companies change. When our founder, Mr. Ellison, retired and handed the company to his son Derek, everything changed. Derek was 31. He wore expensive suits and knew nothing about logistics. What he did know was that he wanted his own people around him. And I wasn't his people. From the day Derek took over, I watched the writing on the wall. The subtle exclusions from meetings. My name left off email chains. Projects I'd led for years suddenly reassigned without explanation. Most people would have updated their resume. I did something different. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who react when they're wronged. And those who wait. I've always been the second kind. Which is why, when they handed me that termination letter, I simply folded it. Put it in my pocket. And walked to my car. They had no idea what I'd been building for 3 years. For the past 3 years, I'd been quietly investing. Not in stocks. Not in crypto. In Pinnacle Solutions itself. Years earlier, our founder had offered employees the ability to purchase company shares at a reduced rate. Most people passed. They thought it was too risky to invest in your own employer. I thought it was the smartest opportunity I'd ever been given. So I bought. Every quarter. Slowly. Patiently. Through a holding company I'd formed called Westbridge Capital, a name that meant nothing to anyone inside that building. I never told a soul. Not my colleagues. Not my wife, at first. Nobody. 3 years later, Westbridge Capital held 31% of Pinnacle Solutions. More than Derek. More than anyone except Mr. Ellison himself, who held 40%. And Mr. Ellison? He and I had lunch every few months. He knew exactly who Westbridge Capital was. He approved of every share I purchased. Derek had fired a shareholder. He just didn't know it yet. The termination came on a Wednesday. Derek sat at the head of the table. Beside him HR, his personal attorney, and the man I later learned was already hired to replace me. Marcus, he said, not even looking up from his phone, we're restructuring. Your position has been eliminated. We appreciate your 11 years of service. 11 years. Said like it was nothing. HR slid a folder across the table. Severance. NDA. Exit agreement. I looked at the papers. Then at Derek. Then I stood up. Thank you for letting me know, I said. And I signed nothing. And I walked out. If you've ever been pushed out of something you built, stay with me. Because what I did next is something I spent 3 years preparing for. And it changed everything. Make sure you're subscribed, because this ending is one you won't forget. That afternoon, I called my attorney. It's time, I told him. 2 days later, Pinnacle Solutions received a formal letter from Westbridge Capital requesting an emergency board meeting. As the second largest shareholder. I heard about Derek's reaction secondhand. My attorney was in the room when he read the letter. When he realized Westbridge Capital was me, the man he'd fired 4 days earlier. The board meeting was held the following Tuesday. I walked in with my attorney. Sat down across from Derek. He looked like a man who had just realized he'd made the biggest mistake of his career. I presented one motion. Given that company leadership had terminated its most senior operational employee without board consultation, in direct violation of the shareholder agreement, I was requesting a formal review of Derek's management authority. Mr. Ellison seconded the motion. Derek kept his title. But every major decision now required board approval. His power had been quietly, permanently reduced. 3 months later, he resigned. Pursuing other opportunities, the announcement said. Pinnacle Solutions is doing better than ever. And I'm back, not as an employee. As a board member, people ask me, did it feel good? Honestly? It felt quiet. Not loud. Not triumphant. Just right. I wasn't angry when I walked out of that termination meeting. Because I'd spent 3 years making sure that the moment someone tried to erase 11 years of my work with a folder and a distracted glance, couldn't actually touch me. The best revenge isn't rage. It's preparation. It's patience. It's walking out of a room where they think they've won knowing the full story hasn't been told yet. Derek thought he was firing an employee. He didn't know he was firing a shareholder. He laughed when I left. I haven't thought about his laugh since. If this story stayed with you, hit the like button and leave a comment. Have you ever had a moment where someone completely underestimated what you'd built? Subscribe to Silent Justice Stories, new stories every week about quiet heroes, hidden truths, and the endings that stay with you.